California, are you ready? California, are you ready to make history? According to Zoom, the answer is yes. Okay. Why do I say this? I say this because California will have an opportunity in 2026 to do what it has not done in many, many years, and that is vote for a Republican governor. Welcome back to the Urban Flow Network. If this is your first time on the channel, I want to say thank you all for tuning in with me. I always like to give y'all, information game that I feel will help you, man. And listen, I don't know about y'all, but every morning I wake up in the morning, I give thanks. It's very important to me. Wake up, give thanks, and go and get after the day, man. You know, I'm talking about this topic of discussion in particular because there is this thing in the black community in particular where a lot of us, and it's not just the black community, but a lot of people in general, they don't feel the need to get out and vote. They don't feel the need to go out and do anything. They feel as though everything is rigged, everything is under the control of the quote unquote system, the quote unquote white man or whoever, whatever else. Okay. And I understand the philosophy, I understand the thought process behind that. But I still do believe that you have a responsibility for the future, for the direction that you want this state, this nation to go. And you can speak that, you can enforce that with your vote, okay? With your vote. Now, one vote, guess what? It doesn't mean too much. But 100,000 votes means something. A million votes can obviously sway and win an election. So it is time, in my opinion, as we saw with the recent election that just passed with the inauguration of Donald Trump, that the silent majority again speak. The silent majority. See, because a lot of people get it twisted. A lot of people think of California and they get it twisted. They think it's just this liberal, left wing, left leaning state and a bunch of, as they say, libertards running around. And while I do understand that philosophy and I do think that there are a lot of people who have that mentality, I think there is a silent majority in California that are sick and tired of the way that things have gone. Even those who have been historically Democrat are starting to understand that the direction that California is going is chaotic, okay? And it has happened under the leadership, by and large, of the Democratic Party. And this is just the facts. This is just the reality of the situation. You cannot tell me that you don't see the issues within California, okay? From the record number of fentanyl deaths, the record number of homelessness, the record high cost of living in California. Things are out of control. Broken roads, trash all over the place. What the heck is going on? We need common sense politics to once again rule the day. And I'm going to introduce you all to this individual by the name of Chad Bianco. Now, this is for those of y'all who've never heard of him. And I'm going to play a clip of him basically speaking about California, speaking about it being broken. And we're just going to hear him talk. I have not heard this speech by him or this conversation, so it'll be our first time hearing it as well. All right, so let's get into it.
Now it's our campaign to be the next governor of California. Developing news, Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco is running for governor in 2026. He announced his campaign today in Riverside, becoming the first major Republican in the race. The Law and Order Conservative says this campaign will focus on uniting Californians around a shared goal of improving the state rather than deepening political divides. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco, he made the trip up to 60, and here he is live in our studio tonight. Thanks so much.
Law and order is what he's standing on. He's standing on business and he's serious. And it's a wonderful thing. All right, let's hear what he got to say. And I love the smile, I love the energy, I love the enthusiasm by this young man, by the way. Let's hear this.
He made the trip up at 60, and here he is live in our studio tonight. Thanks so much for being here. You're welcome. Thank you for having me on. All right. We knew that this was coming. You've been hinting at this for a long time. Why are you running for California governor? Yeah, it's plain and simple. California is broken. We are failing, and we are failing our residents, our Californians. And it's not our Californians' fault. It's not the people's fault. It's government's fault. Government has forgotten about Californians in favor of special interests and lobbyists. And we see it every single day, whether it's homeless, whether it's regulation for builders, whether it's fires. You can't go outside without seeing another failure of government, and no one is addressing it. It's just a repeat year after year after year. And as we come into another political cycle, we're hearing the same promises of fixing the same things that they're causing. And honestly, I just got tired of it. You can only take so much of the same thing. And in my work with it's all about honesty. Law enforcement is about you do not lie. And when we are told things that we know are physically not true, it's hard. It's hard to take. And I
Right off the bat, man, shouts out to Chad Bianco, Riverside County Sheriff Department, law enforcement in general in California, man. Hey, this is a major, major development, man. If you are from California, I cannot stress the significance of having a person like this who you see. Here's the thing. He's not your typical Republican. When you listen to him speak, you can tell he's passionate about law and obviously being truthful. He's passionate about the American people, okay? But you can tell, you can see in his eyes and his face and his voice, you can hear the balance. You can tell he's fair and balanced. He's not some, they always try to make the right, the Republicans seem so extreme. You can tell this is not who this man is. He's a caring man. He's a husband. He's a father. He is a man who just wants to see California set on the right path. I love how he just shot straight. He went straight forward and said, California is failing the Californian people, the people of California. This state is failing them. And he went on to list a myriad of reasons why. And those are all facts, all truths, okay, in terms of what he said. And it is evident for anyone who's lived in California for any period of time, there is like you see more failure in California than you do success ultimately. You see a lot of situations where it's like, yo, where was the common sense in this, in that, in the third? Why do we have to live under these ridiculous conditions? And he talked about it being the result of special interest groups who want to push their own political agenda, regardless of what is in the best interest of the actual people, the actual tax-paying citizens of California. Now let's let this man cook. Just can't do it. And one of the things you talked about, because I was there during your announcement today, was you're tired of seeing family members, friends, whomever move out of state. Yes. That's a big tenet of your campaign. Yes. How do you keep people from moving out of state? What can you do as governor? We have to fix the things that are driving them out. They're driving them out because we pay far too much in taxes. We are not getting any benefit from those taxes. Our tax money is being wasted by our government. The regulations here for building, you can't afford a home here. It's impossible to buy a home. It's so sad that you have young couples that are trying to find friends to go in halves on to buy a house. That there's something seriously wrong with that system, and this is totally facts, 100% facts. I was reading the other day an article that talked about the median age of home ownership from 30 years ago as opposed to what it is today. And so most people aren't buying their first home until they're well into their 30s, mid to late 30s. And this is probably even worse in a state like California, where you talk about a median home price anywhere. I mean, especially like in LA County. Listen, if you talking about a three-bedroom, two-bath home, let's say 1,200 square feet, we're not talking about no mansion. We're not talking about, whatever. We're talking about a 1,200, 1,400 square foot home in LA County. I mean, my goodness, it's going to be difficult for you to find something under 800,000. Okay. If you can even find it, depending on where you are, in a lot of places you want to live and, the picture you're seeing in the background behind you in a place like LA, three-bedroom, two-bath, you're looking at $1.1 million. You're looking at $1 million. You're looking at $900,000. Easy, easy, easy. So everything he's saying is true. People having roommates, every roommate making, upper 96 figure income, and they still are barely able to save and do different things to prepare for the future. So something is seriously wrong with the cost of living in California. We all know this. This is a fact, okay? Government that's caused it. So the price of gas, the price of food, harming our farmers to put them out of business, which eventually drives the cost of food up for Californians. It absolutely makes no sense. So if we fix those issues, then the people will come back. Well, we know. And what about taxes? He talked about taxation a minute ago. California probably has some of the highest tax rates of any state in the country. All this tax money, where is it going? You think we'd have perfect roads? no potholes. You think we'd have reasonable priced gas. You think a lot of different things based on the amount of money that we're being taxed. But the question becomes, where are our tax dollars going? The education system is not getting all these tax dollars. The education system is not phenomenal in California unless you're in certain areas of California. So where is the tax money going? And I think the answer to that, ultimately lies in a lot of special interest groups. They're getting a lot of these tax dollars to do a lot of things that they are claiming to do. But what you don't realize is our backdoor deals going on. This high-speed rail project that has ultimately failed, right? It's been more of a failure than a success. Where is that money going? Who is actually benefiting from these things, right? Do we have a paper trail? Are there backdoor deals being done that are not in the best interest of the Californian people? I think the answer to that is definitely. So what the Californian people need and deserve is transparency. And we're hoping that this man, Mr. Bianco, can bring that forth.
That there's a Democratic supermajority in Sacramento. So how will you do that with that said legislature? Yeah, so it's called leading. It's been decades and decades and decades since we have had a leader in Sacramento. It's easy to say we elected someone to a leadership position, but that does not make them a leader. You can't go in. Number one, you have to care about other people more than yourself. And the thing that I've noticed in 6 years of having to deal with the people in Sacramento is it's all about them. It is not about Californians. It's not about our neighborhoods and our communities and constituents. It's about them. It's about their personal agenda, their ideological agenda, and it has to stop. So a true leader cares more about the people that they're serving than themselves, and they will sacrifice themselves. And I'm not saying that I'm that leader. Other people are telling me that I'm that leader. So it's not something, I don't think it's something that you can learn. I think it's something that you could possibly be born with, or it's just natural to you. And so my entire plan is to go there. You have to work with them, but there are also ground rules, and there's a mission and there's a vision, and you abide by that vision. And that's what leadership is that takes us from one step to the next. Okay.
Man, I hope he keeps that same angle of approach when he gets voted in, right? I hope he's strong and doesn't compromise for this extreme left, right? I'm concerned for him. Why? Because he's going to be going into the belly of the beast, if you will, the belly of the liberal beast in Sacramento, with the Democrats controlling the majority of what's happening when it comes to the political arena. He talked about those people in Sacramento being more concerned with their own special interests than what is necessarily in the best interest of all of California. He said he's not going for that. And I hope he keeps that same mentality. I hope he keeps that same fire, keeps that same passion when he goes there. And he's going to need help. He is going to need help from other people with common sense who can be basically on his team, so to speak, to help him advance whatever causes he wants to advance. Okay.
So we know a couple of things about California. We know it's very blue. We know that the last time we had a Republican governor was about 20 years ago. So to overcome that, you basically say it's not the D or the R in terms of your leadership. I want to ask you, though, because we have some statistics to show our viewers. Kamala Harris, of course, our former vice president, she has not announced her gubernatorial run yet. But if she does, polls show, you see it here, that she has an overwhelming majority and that she would very well become the next governor of California. Do you want her to run? And if so, why? I actually do. And that poll, I believe it was only a Democrat poll, and it was of Democrat contenders. Who would you vote for? I welcome that because I remember her as the Attorney General. She completely failed. It's a toss-up of who's worse, her or Attorney General Bonta. So the problems that she caused in San Francisco, what she did as the Attorney General, I welcome that competition, and especially in today's day and age of California, when public safety is at the top of the list of issues, and to have to run against her I would welcome the opportunity to run against her, because it would be a hands down decision for voters who would they pick to lead California in that direction.
I 100% agree with this man. That would be a very interesting race to see Miss Harris, the failed presidential nominee, try to, bring herself back home and go for California governorship and lose to Mr. Bianco. This is a man that no one's really heard of. I haven't heard of him prior to this. I'm just hearing based on his policies what he's standing on. And I can tell you that I'm very excited about this man running, and I hope he wins because I can tell by the things that are coming out of his mouth that he's standing on business. He's standing on common sense principles. He's not bending the knee to special interest groups. He's not playing the identity politics game. He's not playing the sympathy card. He's not doing all this mess that doesn't have a place in politics. It's cool to have people who have those types of ideological thought processes, in certain seats. It's cool. You want to work for a nonprofit or a certain group that champions those causes, that champions the rights of certain special interest groups that you believe in. Totally fine. Do your thing. Like my man, it's a rapper. I forgot his name, man. I forgot his name. Oh, it's bothering me. I can't remember his name, but do your thing, man. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Do it. That's what I'm saying. But when it comes to having those special interests and you are someone who wants to be a governor of the state, no, we can't have that as the governor. There has to be a voice with more power and more common sense in the room than the voice of someone who wants to serve special interests. So we're going to take a piece of that. We can take a piece of your special interest and apply it to the groups that it applies to. But this special interest that you, Miss Harris, have, that you believe in, is not for the benefit of the whole of California. You see, that's the difference. And this man seems confident that he will go against Miss Harris and win. And I would love to see it as well, too, because this would be the wake up call that California needs, that the nation needs to see, meaning America needs to see that the silent majority of California they're no longer sleeping. They're ready to make a move. There just has not been a face that they could vote for that they believe in to actually make that vote. Okay. This is not based on emotion. This is based on common sense. That's the difference. Ms. Harris, this is a vote based on emotion, whereas this individual here, this is a vote based on common sense and principles that we know works. You're talking about a sheriff, a man who's been responsible for the last God knows how many years enforcing the law in a righteous way, though. This is the type of man you want to have power. I'm telling you, the type of person you want to have power is a person who is used to enforcing the law. And when people don't have smut to put on his name, and he is someone who enforces the law, this is the highest quality, highest caliber of leader that you could ask for. Now, if they putting all kind of dirt on his name and he got a lot of smut on his name, that's a different story. That's a different story if that were the case. But that does not appear to be the case with this young man.
About 30 seconds left. Obviously, you're very well known here in Southern California. How do you get the name recognition that you have here statewide? I think I have it. I think I have because of what's happened in the last 6 years, I think that it obviously not as much here, but we still have that north. And we found that in the last year as I traveled the state with Prop 36. So I think we've done that very well with that.
Man, are y'all ready? California, are you ready? Are you ready to make history? Let's talk about it. Who was the last Republican governor of California? My goodness, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger, going all the way back to the year 2011, 2003 through 2011. My. It has been far too long. California needs it. And see, here's the thing. A lot of people think California is just super, super blue. California has in the past, a history of having Republican governors, as you can see here by this list. There was a time period, as you can see, going all the way back to the early 1900s where it was mainly Republican, right? Then the Democrat policies came in, and you can actually, you can pretty much draw a straight line between, the Democratic governorship, okay, and more problems in California. So I'm very excited about this new individual who will be running for governor, Mr. Chad Bianco, man. I hope he gets the job done. Man, so look, I want to know what y'all think about this revelation, man. Is this a sign of hope, a sign of change for California? Can California make a comeback in the arena of politics and move things in a sense of positive, in a sense of common sense, right? And move this state back in a positive direction? I hope so, man. I hope so. I hope people get away from playing identity politics and vote for the people who really are the best candidate for the job, not based on identity, not based on if they black, white, female, male, what they identify as and all that madness. No, vote for the person whose policies basically make the most sense, who have a demonstrated track record of providing and producing results. Because why? That person is going to most likely provide and produce those results for you. The last thing I'm gonna say about it is this, man. I started this video out talking about, how in our communities a lot of people don't vote. They don't care to vote. They don't believe in voting. They believe the kingdom of God have the solution for every problem. And I agree with the last point of that. But I'm gonna tell you something. As long as we are here on this earth, right, we have a responsibility to contribute to our community. Every day you wake up, whether you know it or don't know it, you are contributing to this world, to this community that you live in by the decisions that you make, the actions that you take or don't take. And I'm telling you guys right now, a lot of people don't realize that a lack of action is, in a lot of cases, agreement with the current condition of how things are. So if you are comfortable with things the way they are, then okay, then don't do nothing and sit back on the sideline. But if you're not, then you need to get involved in some type of way. And again, your vote is the least of ways that you can get involved. So I want to encourage y'all, do number one, do your research on whoever's going to be running for the seats. Do your research, do your background checks on these individuals, make sure everything lines up and is copacetic. And if you feel good in your heart and you know, like, man, look, this is the best thing for California, this makes sense. I'm tired of things the way they've been. I can see the problems that's going on. Go get your butt out there and go vote. If you got to take a day off work, take a day off work, get your butt down there and go vote. Because if we don't, our state, the state of California is going to continue to go down the path it's been going down, and it's going to ultimately lead to the utter destruction. Look what we've produced. Look what California produced to run against Donald Trump. And it was a beautiful thing because she lost in glorious fashion. But how is it that this person come from California, supposed to be this celebrated politician from California? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with her, but I'm saying that the people that this state is producing to go on a national level and represent California, it's not something that the people can be proud of. No, we would rather send a Republican candidate to run for the president of the United States, and that would be true. Next level, true next level inspiration. That would be truly inspiring to see a California Republican, okay, presidential nominee go up and win based on forward thinking principles, forward thinking policies. Man, it'll change the United States of America, man. And that's why I say the people of California, you have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to make history. All right. Like, share, subscribe, fam. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Till we chat again, I'm out of here.